Okay, so today I want to talk about how I mic the accordion, and maybe it'll be useful for you. Hopefully some of this will make sense and be doable. I'm going to start with the left hand, and once we get that set, we'll probably just leave it. I typically do this thing on the outside, and what I've got here is just a piece of cardboard with some metal in there. You can maybe use a coat hanger or a tin can or something to keep this elbow kind of straight. Kind of like the cardboard because it's soft. It's not going to scratch. It's not going to scratch the surface here. And at the end of this elbow, I've got a small miniature microphone. This one is made by Audio-Technica. It's an ATM-35, and it's no longer manufactured, but they've replaced it with an ATM-350, I believe. I like this microphone because it's got a nice low end response, and on the left hand that is an important thing. It's not and it's not too aggressive on the high end, but as many AT mics are, it's plenty bright. I should mention that they do also have an ATM 35 Pro, or it's an ATM Pro 35. I think it's Pro 35. That one looks attractive because, well, one, it says Pro, and how could that not be bad? And also the price point is nice. It's like $150. Unfortunately, the low-end response is not as good on that one, and I can't recommend it, although I haven't tried it. If you could go to your music store and let them give you that a try, that would certainly be a much more attractive price point. These things run, the new ones run, depending on the mount, somewhere between $300 and $350. More expensive than I would expect for this microphone, but it works pretty well for this instance. So it's attached to the left hand. This piece of cardboard is just taped to the top here with I use painter's blue tapes because it doesn't have a lot of residual glue and stuff to gum up your nice accordion. I'm also going to try at this point. I've also got the accordion, plugged in. I've got inside of this instrument, I've had the Sennheiser miking system put in, so I think there's two mics over in the left hand. There's three over in the right hand. I don't think we're going to mess with those at all today. But the two in the left hand, we'll compare sonically how that is between this mic and what sounds inside. I'm kind of curious too. I tried it out at one point, kind of discounted it, and then I tried it out again. I thought, well, maybe it would work well with the other mic, and I think I did some like that. And then I just stopped using the internal mics at all. But maybe today I'll change my mind as well. So I'll play just a simple scale. Let's see, let's make sure both of them are on, because I'm just going to do this 3 times and then turn the different mics on and off. So simple scale, this will be just this microphone here, the ATM-35. My little iPad, sure, making noise today. ATM-35. So here's that. And then just some noise. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing, and we'll have just the internal microphone, see if you can hear a difference. Here we go. Okay, and then the final thing will be same thing, except I'll turn both on. Maybe try panning one to one side and one to the other. We'll see what sounds best when I'm mixing this down. But here we go. Okay, so we're going to try something else in the left hand. one would hope that we're going for this because it's less expensive, but it's actually a little more expensive than the other one. I got one of these a while back and was thinking about it for the left hand of the accordion because they're the much sought after DPA microphones, often used on violins and a variety of other instruments. This is a 4060, costs about $430. And hopefully this will be an example of just because it costs more doesn't mean it's better. Better for certain instances, as a certainty. It's very, very compact, easy to get into small places, very rugged microphone. So it has a lot of advantages, but I don't think it has that bass that we're looking for the left hand of the accordion. Although revisiting this is going to give me a chance to decide for myself again. Here's what it sounds like on that same kind of C major scale. Here's the chords. And okay, now I've got a couple of mics on the treble side. See, I might just flip them out so you can see them a little bit better. These are my go-to microphones for recording the accordion, and unfortunately, they're really expensive. So I'm gonna do the next pass with something less expensive, and we'll see if it really makes a difference. I think the difference is there's a difference, but I don't think it's that bad. So this is normally a matched pair is the thing to go for if you've got the money. Matched pair is a great thing. I've just got a couple of mics that I like. This one up above, I don't know if you can see it above the black accordion here. Let's see, maybe if I move the keyboard over, you can get a better idea. No, not really. This is an MKH 50. This is made by Sennheiser. It's kind of their high-end condenser microphones. It's probably about $1,200, and they're a hypercardioid, which normally I would go with a cardioid, but I got a good deal on this mic, and I've been using it for years, and it's real rugged, and it's got a little extra in the bass than some, and so I tend to use it if I want a little more fullness. This other microphone, and you can't hardly even see it. Let's see if I can bring it out so you can see it. This is we were talking about the left-hand microphones, and we used a DPA, and on the left, the little miniature DPA 4060, which I listened back. I cheated and I listened back a little bit, and I've got to revisit that mic. That's a nice. It doesn't have the low end that the 35 does, but it's very linear and it sounds more natural. So it certainly has a place. This is also from the same DPA family, except that I got this back so many years ago that the company was at that time called B&K, and this is their large condenser. Damn, I've forgotten what the number is. I think it's 4011, and this is a great microphone. And I wish if I had all the money in the world, I'd probably have a matched pair on this accordion, certainly on the piano. The difference part of the difference in a really fine microphone is this thing is made really well, and so if you're working all the time, this thing has never failed me. It's really ruggedly built, and it's very it's kind of my test instrument microphone. It's very accurate, but that's not necessarily what you always want. Like I was saying with the ATM 35. It's not very linear at all, but I kind of like that poofy stuff it does in the bass for certain things. So we've got these two rather expensive microphones on the accordion, and like I say, I try to go for kind of the beautiful tone of the instrument more than the real aggressive and powerful sounds. I go for the sort of feminine, melodious sounds. Which means that I almost always use the chambered reeds in this AM 1100, and we'll do our little demos on the middle reed, which is what I use almost exclusively for when I'm playing. So the reeds are chambered, so they're deep inside the accordion, and then I tend to put the microphones off access to the grill because I don't really want that direct sound so very much. Well, maybe we'll do an instance where we'll put that on there, and maybe I'll change my mind on that as well. But usually I go sort of like this, which is a little weird, and probably pick up a little bit more key click too if you're not careful. And they're spread apart. Sometimes maybe spread them apart a little bit more. This may not work as well for if you don't have a chambered reed. You might consider doing something like this where you put the capsules close together. You're going to have less. You're going to have better phase coherency. And what I found with let's see if I don't know if you can see that here. Let's see if I skip back there. You can see this capsule do kind of a where the capsules are nearly touching, but one's facing this direction, one's facing that direction, and those coincident capsules give you really good phase coherency, and you're still going to get some stereo dimension. And what I was going to say is when you're playing an accordion and the reeds are not chambered, you really hear the difference when it goes, from a low reed to a high reed. And that can be distracting. If you pan them out wide and you've got your microphone set wide, your sound is kind of going like this across the stereo panorama. And it's generally not probably a desirable thing. So you might want to try doing coincident pair, facing this way, that way. I'm addicted to stereo. I think it makes the instrument sound bigger and rounder and warmer and more exciting. So there's very few occasions where I go mono on the accordion. If it's sitting in a mix where there's a whole bunch of other instruments, sure, you could go mono. But if it's kind of soloistic, or if it's one of just a few instruments, having that wide sound is very desirable for me. And I tend to pan them like the left hand I will pan to the left side, and then I'll spread out the right hand so it's kind of 10 o'clock and wide here, so the whole accordion goes across the panorama in a fairly wide way. Okay, so here's these two microphones, and I'll just play some arpeggios and chords and see if you like the sound. And maybe we'll try doing off the grill and see if you like that, and then we'll go to some less expensive microphones. Let's see, I didn't tell you the bad news on the DPA. I'm not sure what they go for now. They're around a couple $1,000s though. In the matched pairs, probably closer to $5,000. I don't know. I haven't checked. Unless we win the lottery, we probably won't be buying a lot of those. Okay, sounds like this. I don't go up there much, but it would be just a little lower on this one. Sorry. Let's try that. Let's see if that's... Little left hand. Try some less expensive microphones. These are Shure microphones. They're KSM 141. They're the same, basically the same as the 137, except you can change them from Omni to cardioid. In most instances, we probably want cardioid if we're working in a room that's noisy or small, or if we don't have a lot of space. The Omnis tend to be a little flatter, and sometimes we don't want flat, but if you have noise, like even in this control room, I have noise from gear, and so I tend to use cardioids in here. So the 141s list for a matched pair somewhere around $875, and if you're happy with the fixed cardioid, which would work 90% of the time, then the 137s are somewhere in the 650 range. So getting closer to $300 a piece, which is almost worth thinking about. So let's see what they sound like. I haven't used these comparatively against the other ones before, so I'm learning along with everybody else. But so same, just A minor arpeggio. Let's see what we get out of these guys. And okay, so we'll get a chance to hear those. I promised to do the grill. Let's see if maybe I could do that with this. At least you'll hear it. You should hear a change in tone, or we both should hear a change in tone. See if we like it. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's great with these mics. Like I say, everything can be good for different songs, different instrumentation. So here's the grill. Should be a little brighter. Okay, and for our final experiment, we're going to we've got a pair of Royer ribbons here. These are 121, so they're not active microphones. Ribbons are typically figure 8, maybe always figure 8. And so they reject good off the sides. They tend to be pretty linear and not a hyped top end like a condenser. And you can get in close to them without them getting a lot of proximity effect. They have a lot of positive attributes for certain instruments. I thought they'd be a sure win for the accordion. I tried them a few times and went back to my old standards. But again, I'm ready to have my mind changed too. So let's take a listen to these. And then this last configuration, I might try it in a couple of locations on the accordion. Something I've never tried before, but I've been curious about it. At least it's something I've never tried on an accordion. This is called mid-side recording. I'm using a cardioid pattern microphone going at the instrument, and then this silver microphone here, this old 414, is set up in a figure 8 pattern, so it's picking up on each side of the microphone, but not around the microphone. The gist is that it goes back into mono really well, gives you some spatial dimension, but it's real phase coherent because both capsules are almost in the exact same position. So I'm curious what it'll sound like an accordion, so we'll find out. Here's that A minor. Okay, and then maybe even with everything rolling, I'm going to shift the mics around. I'll cut that stuff out. That could possibly be interesting. I have no idea. Well, that gives you some ideas of how to mic things. I know the expensive mics are probably going to be out of most of our budgets, but the Sures are maybe a consideration. Oh, I was going to say too, there's a microphone that I've been exposed to, but I don't own, and I wish I had them to demo for you because it might be a more budget choice for many of you. There's a mic that's made in Russia called an Octava, and I've had clients bring stuff in that's recorded with those. Sound really nice on guitar, and I think they would sound pretty good on an accordion. They're slightly less expensive than the Shure microphones. They go for you can get one that has just a single cardioid capsule and a 10 dB pad, and I think it's getting really close to $400. They also make some for slightly more money, where you can get an Omni capsule and a cardioid capsule and the pad for more like $6 something. But those are probably worth giving a try. If you can borrow some, or if you can get a store to loan you some. I can't recommend them on the accordion, having not tried them, but I would guess that they would be pretty good, and they'd be slightly more affordable than the Shures, and they should sound pretty good. In any case, there's some microphones, some possible ways to mic the accordion, and I hope it gives you a jump start on how you want to do your own instrument. I'm going to end this little, as the credits go out and things are going by, I'll put on a song that I recorded on my first CD a number of years ago now, that has two mics on the left hand. It's about the only time I ever did that. It was two of the ATM 35s. I was thinking that it deserved stereo because I was being a little more nimble than I normally am. So you might enjoy that as a final listening for miking. And thanks for tuning in.